Hey everyone, I'm Elsie Gamer, and welcome back to Agatha Christie's Hercule Poirot's The First Cases. We're here in Chapter 4,
The
the
guests
Interrogations.
are waiting for you, Detective.
Thank you.
I informed them of what has happened, but divulged no details.
Good. There goes my opportunity to catch one of them off guard. No matter, I have more than one weapon in my armory.
I am most grateful. Madame Vandenbosch is here also?
I'm sure.
She's in her room with Miss Angeline. It may be better to speak with them privately tomorrow.
Maybe.
Oui, merci. I shall come find you again once my questioning is complete.
The guests' alibis are my priority. Once I can confirm their whereabouts this evening, I can understand who had an opportunity. Alright. I have my lead suspects from the evidence at the scene of the crime, perhaps. Those will change after speaking with them. I do? Huh. Alright. Jackie... You're highlighted as important. Why?
Oh.
Yeah, you don't want to embarrass yourself. I understand. Let's talk to you real fast.
Is that the end of your
There are still some questions.
I was trying to interrogate him. Oh well. Alright, who to start with? Let's go from left to right.
I'm afraid our conversation is of a more formal nature this time.
So the Major was murdered?
Looks like it.
It appears so.
You can't think that I did it, though.
I don't know.
I will be questioning everyone over the course of the evening, and your cooperation will certainly speed up that process.
Besides speaking with me, tell me about your movements before dinner.
I was here in the salon, minding my own business, enjoying my own company.
Minding your business from whom?
Obviously. Everyone else, and probably his brother.
Comtesse, what's her name, and my brother. Apart from wanting to congratulate him for a great right hook, there was nothing I had to say to him.
Comtesse de Vos? And they will both confirm you were here?
If she had taken a moment to notice anything besides herself, she will tell you I was here the whole time.
We'll find out.
I think that is all for now. Merci for your time.
I'm not gonna get a lot of information out of them right away, so...
Bonsoir, Monsieur Beckers. Merci for speaking with me.
Monsieur Poirot, or should it be Detective Poirot now?
Yes.
Detective Poirot is perfect, merci. I would like to begin with a few questions.
Go right ahead, Detective Poirot.
Can you tell me where you were prior to dinner?
I took great pleasure in seeing the Major's ego as well as his face take a bruising, and then I made my way to the library.
Where you spoke with Mademoiselle Conrad.
And yourself? Yes.
We were the only two that you spoke with.
One of the servants brought me a drink, and I was telling her about the benefits of joining a union. She didn't understand what it truly meant to be a part of something. Something bigger than just her. I was trying to explain to her how...
Monsieur.
Oh, yes, it was just the two of you, and the servant.
Okay. Strange that he does not seem to recall seeing the Silva in the library.
And you are sure there was no one else present?
I'm not sure what you're getting at, Detective. You were there.
Yes, I was. But I wanted to hear who you saw.
Merci, Monsieur Beckers. It has been a most enlightening conversation.
You talked to Poirot, the maid, and Jackie. You didn't talk to Silva.
Monsieur de Silva, merci for obliging me.
A detective comes to a party and a dead body shows up. Coincidental, don't you think?
Well, Poirot does have a tendency of... Whenever he goes on vacation, someone dies right next to him. So yeah.
A man's death is not a matter to joke on, monsieur.
Who said anything about a joke? I am saying what I see.
Then perhaps you can tell me what it was you saw this evening.
Where were you prior to dinner?
Following whatever that was in the hall, I moved to the library.
Is there anyone that can confirm that?
Probably not.
Miss Conrad and Beckers were in there, arguing about something. The books held my interest far more than their conversation.
You did not speak with them until dinner was served?
I had no reason to get involved with their little spat. It was clear they didn't want me to hear, and that suited me just fine.
True.
Merci for your cooperation.
Alright, next. Gideon?
Monsieur Demire, I am sorry your celebrations have taken a rather dark turn.
As am I, Detective. I hope we will be able to bring this investigation to an end post-haste.
I'm trying.
With your cooperation, I will do my very best.
Besides your time in the hall, where were you before we were summoned to the dining room?
I was here in the salon. I thought I would have a moment of peace to calm myself, but the Comtesse and my brother followed behind.
Did they inquire into the reasons behind the fight in the hall?
I think they both saw it as some light entertainment, more than anything else.
The Comtesse does not strike me as one to enjoy violence.
And not so much violence, but karma for the Major, perhaps. You did not hear how he spoke to my wife-to-be. She is still rather upset about the whole thing.
Well, I haven't had a chance to talk to them either.
If you would be so kind as to stay here, I may require your help further.
Next.
Comtesse, I am sorry our next conversation must be under such formal circumstances.
It is not the first time Felix has ruined a good party.
Well, this will be his last.
The current state of tonight's celebrations is the least of my priorities, Comtesse.
Well, it's at the top of mine, Detective. I did not come here for a wake.
Perhaps then we should proceed with my questions and you can get back to celebrating.
It would be my pleasure, chérie.
We spoke earlier. Did you remain here in the salon until dinner was served?
I did. I thought by staying in one place, it would be easy for the staff to bring me my drinks. How wrong I was.
And who else was present in here?
The handsome groom-to-be and his brother, although Zachariah, is it, made a rather sharp exit at one stage.
Did he say where he was going?
Probably not.
He barely said 2 words to either of us. I think he was more concerned with his drink.
That he is. Another to notice, Demire's drinking, and yet no one seems concerned. Thought she was talking about Zach looking for a drink, not Demire.
Merci, Comtesse. If I have any further questions, I shall be sure to come and find you.
Okay, I'm getting a little confused now.
Mademoiselle Conrad, I am sure you understand the delicate nature of the situation.
I'm sure she does.
I knew I had seen your face before. You were just an officer when that story hit the paper.
You have a très bon memory, mademoiselle. That was a long time ago.
You can't escape the past, especially when you go and do something like that.
That is very true, but one can learn from it and create a better future.
What would you say to an
You're not a reporter.
Please, mademoiselle. Catching the Major's killer is my sole concern right now. Now, if you would be so kind, I have some questions for you.
Tell me about your evening since your arrival.
I arrived, unpacked my bags in my room, and made it downstairs just in time to see the Major take a right hook from Gideon. And then I went to check out the library.
And you were joined by Monsieur Beckers.
And Ernesto, or Monsieur Silver, as you say. But after he ignored my attempt at pleasantries, I left him to his book in the corner.
Okay.
And your conversation with Monsieur Beckers that I interrupted.
Yeah, not intentionally.
You are a persistent one, aren't you? Makes sense now I know who you really are. You'll just have to wait and read about it in the paper like everyone else.
Okay. Conrad still remains tight-lipped about her discussion with Beckers, but a hint at reading about it in the newspaper makes me believe it may be of a much grander nature than I expected.
You have been most helpful. I request you do not go too far. Merci.
Alright. Let's try and get some things put together here. Zachary's expressed disdain for Margaret. Zachary saw Gideon and Margaret was in the salon. Angeline still upset about the altercation. Gideon was present. Zachary went missing. That's what I thought she was saying. Alright. So I need to figure out how I'm gonna spiderweb this. Jackie was talking to Hugo. Jackie was in the library. Ernesto was lurking in the library. Jackie was talking to Hugo. Spoke with Jackie and myself.
Things are beginning to become clearer.
Alright. Alibi, check. Argument between Hugo and Jackie.
Another success. I never doubted myself.
She was the alibi for him, and he's the alibi for them. Alright. These two together?
Some would say a lucky guess. I would say a moment of genius.
No, this is just the obvious statements I am using. Alright. Zach went missing. Gideon was present.
The pieces of the puzzle are finally coming together.
Yeah. Alright. Then we have Jackie and I think these two should go together.
I must act on thought and...
Alright. Gideon and confirms each other's alibi. Morgan can... So, these two together?
Come, my little grey cells.
Maybe this one and this one?
Is there something I am not seeing?
Yes, apparently there is. Alright. So these two together. And these two together.
Magnifique.
Told you it was a spider web. And I wasn't paying enough attention to figure some of these out. Alright, and then it was this one, and this one.
I should not be surprised by my own skills of deduction.
Alright, so talk to Zach, talk to Hugo. Anything else anyone else I need to talk to? No, just those. And they're both on this side of the room. Alright, Hugo, talk to me.
Whatever you require, detective.
Your story of tonight's events.
I know you are probably used to dealing with criminals, but not everyone is trying to hide something.
But most people hide something even when they don't intend to.
I hope for your sake that you do not hide anything from me.
What is it you think I'm hiding?
I struggle to believe you did not know of Monsieur da Silva's presence in the library.
Is that what this is about? I saw him hiding in the corner, pretending to read. I'd be surprised if he even could. I did not speak to him, and he certainly didn't make any attempt to speak with me.
Okay. I sense some hostility there.
Monsieur Demire invited you here to speak with him. You didn't see that as a fitting time too?
I was speaking with Jacqueline, and quite frankly, I was in no mood to be dealing with that man.
Beckers is courageous and full of vigor in his planning, but his execution does not share such confidence.
Merci, Monsieur Beckers. It has been a most enlightening conversation.
Alright, let's see. Anything new here? Yes. So we have Hugo saw Ernesto briefly.
What a revelation!
Not a revelation. Not at all.
Another success. I never doubted myself.
Yeah. They just confirmed each other were there. Thank you. Hugo, Ernesto, and Jackie confirm each other's alibis. Zach?
I'm an open book, Poirot.
Your version of events slightly differ because you didn't tell me where you ran off to.
I told you already. I was here in the salon.
And you did not leave even once.
Well, I had to use the bathroom. I didn't realize I had to update you every time nature called.
No, but it would help to verify when and what time you had left the lounge.
You may keep your calls of nature to yourself, merci. And then you returned to the salon?
If you don't believe me, ask Archibald. He saw me on his way up to the study.
Archibald? The study?
I think that is all for now. Merci for your time.
Interesting. Okay. Archibald, you have some explaining to do.
Can you confirm seeing Monsieur Demire in the hall this evening?
Zachariah, yes. I was on my way with a bottle of whiskey to the Major. He shouted a rather ignorable greeting to me and asked for directions to the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
I presume you showed him the way?
Aye, detective. I showed him to the hall bathroom. I didn't think it was wise to attempt the stairs, not in that state.
Good choice. Alright. So, Zachariah... absence covered by... And we connect these two together.
I must take a different approach if I am to uncover the...
No? Then we put it here.
What a revelation!
Alright. Now do I get another icon that's talking about people confirming their whereabouts?
Magnifique.
Absent time accounted for by Archibald. Yay. Alright. Surely someone else is to blame. Now I gotta talk to the only two people which were not in the salon. At the library. Which would be Madame and Angeline. Even with some minute differences in stories, the guests all confirm each other's alibis. It is not the outcome I was expecting or perhaps hoping for. Yay. Alright. Reorganizing. That did not yield the result I desired. Perhaps a more direct approach, considering their potential motives, will reveal more. Yay. Does that mean I gotta talk to them all again?
Is that the end of your interrogations?
There are still some questions that
Alright, here we go. Zach, you again.
I'm an open book.
Yes. Did you speak with the Major this evening?
Why would I? I've got nothing to say to him. Except maybe to keep his hands off what is ours.
What is yours that he could want?
Money, of course. Why do you think he has been suckling at the Van den Bosch teat for so long? He's bled them dry, and now they will all do the same to our money.
Our?
My father's, Gideon's, it's all the same.
I get the sense you and Gideon are not the closest.
When you have not been on level playing fields for years, it's hard to have a fair game.
I am afraid I do not quite understand.
If we're playing golf, he has a full set of clubs and a caddy in the form of my father, and I have the old split putter. Make sense now?
In a sense, yes.
Perfectly.
There's certainly some hostility towards his brother. This runs much deeper than brotherly rivalry.
I think that is all for now. Merci for your time.
Yes, thank you.
Whatever you require, Detective.
How do you know the victim?
I know that I don't think, or didn't think, a great deal of him. I'm just sorry I didn't get the chance to tell him what I thought.
The man has recently been murdered.
Doesn't change that fact.
Someone must stand up to men like him, with their crooked dealings and lack of, well, any compassion at all.
Another rousing speech, monsieur.
It's the truth. If you knew what I know, maybe he wouldn't be dead, but behind bars instead.
Or both. When was the last time you saw the Major?
Last I saw, he was outside having a cigar.
Alright.
Oui, I spoke with him myself, but that was some time ago.
He does love a cigar. You'd have to stand out in those conditions. I could barely see him through the snow.
Your connections to the family is through Demir?
Yes, Gideon invited me. If you will recall from our previous conversation, we have been working together and he thought now would be a good time to discuss matters.
Okay.
To discuss business at the celebration of his engagement?
We're all here, so what better time? He thought Da Silva might even let his guard down, if he was in a more jubilant mood. It would be wise to not continue to ignore us any longer.
And what business was it that was so urgent?
We're trying to resolve the worker strikes. It has gone on long enough. Now is the time for him to listen to our demands so we can put an end to it all. Put the violence and upset behind us.
Okay. So are there plans for negotiating with Da Silva?
I am fighting for the basic rights of our workers. Nothing more. If he can't see that, he is a lesser man than I already thought.
And where does Monsieur Gédéon fit into the negotiations? And his brother?
His brother? I didn't even know he had a brother until I arrived here. Gideon certainly hasn't talked much about him. I get the sense there's not much love lost between them.
Ouch. You seem to hold a certain level of, shall we say, anger towards the Major?
Anger, yes, but that's all. I wouldn't kill a man.
Anger can drive people to do things they didn't know they could do.
You must see why this leads me to have suspicions.
You can't honestly think I did it. I am a man of peace. I make changes with words, not with violence.
I'll keep that in mind. I barely mentioned the Major, and Becker became rather flustered and defensive.
Merci, Monsieur Beckers. It has been a most enlightening conversation.
It has. Alright. No new connections. But it says it wants me to talk to Zach again. I want to talk to everyone else first.
More questions? I suppose so.
Yes. Can you tell me more about your relationship with the deceased?
Felix. I didn't know him that well. We spoke a handful of times. I met him through Cassandra. I thought him to be rather pompous.
I agree.
But you remained polite, as any gentleman would.
Of course.
A negative opinion on the Major is rather I can't say that word. Ubiquitous? I think that... No, maybe. I don't know. I'm getting sidetracked. I'm yet to meet someone with a particular positive view of him. Alright.
What is there to say? She's a remarkable woman, and I admire her. Even after Edwin's death, she held herself with such poise.
It sounds as though you hold her in the highest regard.
And why shouldn't I? Women these days could take a leaf out of her book on how to present themselves.
Wow. You said you had talked with the Major a few times. About what exactly?
He had approached me about doing some business together. I like to know who I'm getting into bed with first.
And you both went ahead with your business venture?
Maybe, maybe not.
Not so much a business venture. More security related. But there is no need to discuss that any further.
Is there something you wish to remain hidden about your partnership, monsieur?
It was far from a partnership. I hired him to run security at my factories. If the workers were going to get violent, I wanted to make sure I was ready to protect my property.
Yeah, you don't want riots going on. Both you and the Major have been very supportive of Madame Bosch over the years.
That is correct.
And the reason for your support was always of a purely platonic nature.
If you're trying to insinuate that I was expecting something in return, you can remove your head from the gutter.
I said no such thing, thank you.
I meant no offense. I'm only trying to understand the dynamic of your relationship.
May need to approach this in a different manner. Perhaps I should speak with the Countess on this.
Merci for your cooperation.
Alright.
No trouble at all. How can I help?
With the joining of your two families and the Major being around so much, I assume you knew him well.
I knew of him more than actually knowing him myself. In the past, he made his feelings towards my brother and I quite clear.
And that was not in a positive way.
I certainly wouldn't call trying to get Angeline to postpone the engagement positive.
No, neither would I. I spoke with your brother earlier. He was certainly enjoying himself.
What do you mean?
I do not mean to pry. Only I imagine the whole room was aware of his celebrating with a bottle.
You must be mistaken. Neither my brother nor I drink.
Okay. I do not know how he could not have noticed the state his brother was in. Perhaps one does not see what one does not want to believe. Alright. How is your relationship with your brother?
We aren't the closest. But what brothers are?
I would argue that many are.
We've lived very different lives. Our priorities are different. He does not see things the way I do. There isn't much more to say.
Well, that does, mean a lot, but still. There's clearly more to uncover here. Shall return to the matter when I have the fuel that is required to get the answers. Alright. I'd like to ask you about your work with the Union.
I have lent my voice to some discussions. I have tried to facilitate meetings. Just positive support.
Does that positive support include sending letters to those on the opposing side?
Detective Poirot, I'm not sure what you think I have done.
Monsieur, a letter has been found threatening the Major of what might happen if he does not act promptly, and now he has wound up dead.
You think my sending him a letter, warning him not to get involved, means I murdered him?
No, I think it means that it had something to do with the murder.
At this time, it is certainly reason for me to be suspicious.
I have been funding the strikes, Detective. These men deserve fair treatment, and a wage that fits the hard work they undertake every single day. The Major didn't see that. All he cared about was the money for his services, and that is all I care to discuss.
Okay. It appears the letter was at least written with noble intentions, but he is still hesitant to talk more on the Major's association.
If you would be so kind as to stay here, I may require your help further.
Yay. Alright. Jackie... Maybe I should just go ahead and talk to Zach again, so I don't have to keep going around in circles.
I'm an open book.
Your relationship with your brother, it seems everyone has an opinion.
That doesn't surprise me, and yet no one actually asks.
I am asking now.
I should have expected that, shouldn't I? What is there to say? We used to be close, but not so much anymore.
I would find it very helpful if you could at least elaborate on your relationship.
He went to school, got an education, and was the apple of our father's eye. I went to war. See the difference now?
Zach has again mentioned his time in the war. While I do not mean to belittle his efforts for his country, it seems as though he has not been able to leave that life behind. Yeah, it looks like it. What do you know of your brother's work with the Union?
If you want to know about Gideon's part in the Union, why don't you ask him?
I have, but I want to know your take on it.
So, you are aware of his support for them?
Yes, well, he...
Oui, monsieur?
It'd be best to just ask him.
Zach either does not know much of what his brother does, or he is protecting him rather coyly.
I think that is all for now. Merci for your time.
Yay. Alright, that's Zach dealt with. Need to talk to Gideon again. But first, let's talk with these two ladies.
You came to the right place. What do you need?
Answer this one for me. As you were previously speaking with him, I assume you know Becker as well, then.
That man has got some real anger issues. I get why he's frustrated. He's trying his best for the workers, but holding on to rage like that, something's gonna burst.
Either a blood vessel or... yeah. A man suppressing his anger and a murdered body. The most amateur detective could see a connection. But is that really a connection?
I know that he was not the good and honest man he liked to think he was.
In what sense?
If you spoke to him for longer than 5 minutes, you'd know. I've met people in dark alleys I trust before him.
And on the occasions when you did speak with him, what was discussed?
I'm sorry, Poirot. If you're looking for a deep-seated secret between me and him, you're going to be disappointed.
I'm not looking for a deep-seated secret. I was just curious about the conversation. Conrad is wise to the nature of this question. She knows exactly what and what not to say. This nut may be harder to crack than first expected. Alright. Next we have... You seem to know a great deal about everyone. What can you tell me about Monsieur de Silva and Madame Bosch?
If you think you can use me as some sort of gossip machine, you are sorely mistaken.
Ah.
I can assure you it is not a case of gossiping. At this point, everything may be relevant to my investigation.
So I would be helping you potentially solve a crime? You should have said that off the bat. To say he's smitten is an understatement. I reckon he's been wanting her for years.
I see. Madame does not feel the same?
Doesn't look like it. If she did, she would have said something about it, right?
Well, with her personality, probably not.
You have been most helpful. I request you do not go too far. Merci.
Yay. Alright.